Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it together. If you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I dive deeper into all of these topics, looking for potential investment opportunities, sharing those opportunities with everyone. And I'm also answering a ton of questions that you guys send in. Some of these questions, they may range from, do I like a certain company? How do the technicals look? Uh, what happens if XYZ occurs? A lot of questions out there. And then I answer those and record them and upload them to the website if you can't make those sessions. So you can see all the previous ones in history. You can see all the midweek updates that I also do, which runs over basically technical analysis of the companies themselves, the individual companies that I really like, and showing you why I'm taking positions and entry points in some of the companies and the technicals behind it. I also look at the fundamentals. I listen to quarterly earnings conference calls. I do all that stuff. So if that sounds interesting, we got discount coupon code that's active. If you'd like to join and try it out, you can do the monthly membership, which is a $10 discount, or you can get a larger discount going to a yearly membership. And if you've been a member for a while, over 6 months, and you want to go to a yearly membership, hit me up, shoot me an email. I can give you a special discount. All right, guys, let's take a look here, see what's going on today. The dollar is lower. So we saw this big selling pressure candlestick. It was a inverted flag pattern. We dove out of it to the downside today. So that's a weaker dollar down 0.63%. Pretty strong weaker dollar today. And that generally comes from weaker interest rates. We also saw in relationship to that, I'm going to center this a little bit better, guys, the interest rates drop. So we had a small move in interest rates down. We are kind of right on support. And I don't know if this will break lower. We'll have to wait and see. But we were down 0.54 on the 2 year, a half, about a 0.5% on the 10 year. And I do think that this could be kind of a flag pattern that could head lower. Then we've got the 30 year down 0.5% as well. And we do kind of have another flag pattern that is being developed. So that could dive bomb a little bit lower in the short term. I don't know if we're going to break these bigger patterns though. So this could just be a retest before moving higher. It could be. TYX TNX ratio chopping sideways. It still looks good to work its way on up eventually because we've got this nice little pattern going on. And we'll see if that goes that direction. We're at a very low level. This has generally been good entry points for precious metals, gold specifically. Bond prices up just slightly, but we're stuck in the mud. We haven't moved yet. Now, if this starts to go up, whoever is buying bonds, this would go up, prices would go up of bonds, and then rates would fall. Right now, we're stuck in the mud with a lot of resistance support all through this entire area down there. 2 and 10, we were up slightly today, but again, it's a pretty small candlestick. Momentum is still down in the short term. It's trying to reverse, and we'll see if that occurs. We do have some support right where we're at. We've got gold up about $13 an ounce. It looks good. Momentum's up. We had a little bit of shift momentum with the candlestick at the top there. It is possible to even do a return, back test retest of that, but that's not what I'm calling for. I think this still looks good to go up. It looks strong. Silver up 0.87%. It was ripping this morning, trying to break out here, but hasn't broken out yet. It's right underneath resistance. And it's broken out of the big pattern stuff. The big pattern here, all of that, that's a breakout there. But I'm viewing this as a move higher in the longer time frames. It's all good. And then platinum still squeezing. We're up barely today, and we're still squeezing this corner here. What's going to cause this to move higher? A weaker dollar would. A weaker dollar. Palladium down $10 an ounce. This has been working its way on up. Still looks good. Momentum still higher for palladium. GDX up 1.2%, GDXJ up 1.3%, and SILJ up 0.8%. So we're seeing a little bit of positioning in the mining companies with gold and silver up a little bit. So that looks good. XE to gold ratio up slightly, and we're still at support at a super cheap price here. Incredible value for gold and silver mining companies. Crude oil down slightly. So here we are, we've pulled back these real small little candlesticks pulling on back here. We're back to support here. We'll see if we can get some movement higher here. This is where I'd like to see it. We're back to that support level, and we'll see if we can get some buying pressure support. TTF gas up slightly, still in that uptrend, still looks good. And now we're going to try to break through this resistance area that is above us. That's what we're going to try to break through eventually here. Natural gas in America up 1.67%. We are above support, the long-term support level. Still looks good. Still looks good to try to work its way on up. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, down 1.37. We are dropping a little bit below support resistance. We've got a lot more support in this area here, and that's basically where we pulled back to. So we're right at support. OIH down slightly. We're losing a little bit of momentum, which is good if you want to go up. So it's starting to turn. The momentum, we'll go to the short-term chart just to show you. Your momentum drop, 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 and then if you draw a trend line, here, let me do this so you guys can better see it. You can draw a trend line there, and what you can see is that we're breaking that downward trend line. And this is the momentum that's being lost is here. You're coming down, coming down, coming down, and then you turn sideways. And now we've broken through that downtrend line, potentially doing a retest where we could turn higher. And that's what I mean by the momentum is slowing down. And we could potentially see a turn, and it deals with the candlesticks, the opening and closing prices here. Newcastle coal futures up 1.13. I do think this is going to try to go sideways or slightly higher with time, so that looks good. Natural gas is the driver of my opinion. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust down 2.22%. Again, we've got kind of a reversal candlestick there. It's pulled back a little bit, but we're still within the pattern. Still looks good. And we may pull back to this area right where we're at. So we'll see if we can get some buying pressure soon. This is a bullish formation on the longer time frame. Uranium futures pricing right in the tip. That's generally when this thing is about to explode higher, when we get the breakout, whenever that is. URA, that's also trading back with the futures. So we're getting some weakness in all of these. This is more of a bearish engulfing where we could pull back or go sideways. URNJ also experiencing that. So sideways or slightly lower in that setup there. Copper, fairly lower, right above support of this. Everything still looks good to try to work its way on up on this retest here. And that retest in oil is the same thing as copper and all these other ones. The falling wedge in uranium, they're all interconnected. And what's going to drive this, in my opinion, is going to be a weaker dollar with lowering interest rate. It's going to drive all of it higher because these are all priced in dollars. Weaker dollar, stronger metals and commodities. COPX up, but up against resistance, right behind that resistance line. Iron ore, this has been squeezing up. If they drop the dollar, this is going to blow. It's going to blow to the upside. So it's all squeezed up here. You can see when I used to watch and do, when I used to trade more, you got nice support there. You can see the pullbacks are just slowly leaking. Oh man, it's ready to go very soon. Aluminum right at resistance. It's trying to break. Hasn't broken through yet. When you look at these, what you want to look for is your lows. So your lows, if they continue to come on up, that's what you want to see. And then it's going to come and blow through that resistance and rip. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Nickel down slightly, but it still looks okay. Kind of this double bottom, and we got a double bottom within the double bottom. Moo down slightly, not a huge selling pressure candlestick. I call that a bloody nose or a continuation pattern. Still looks good to go higher. I like that one. Emerging markets, this is the weaker dollar, weaker yields. All these are going to start to go up. This kind of looks like a shoulder head, maybe something on the lines of that. A bottoming pattern, we'll call it. And it will continue to work its way higher with a weaker dollar. KRE, weaker dollar, bullish engulfing, looks good to go higher. This is a flag pattern. what I'm seeing there. We've got tan up slightly, lithium up slightly, and REMX up slightly. Again, these are all, I think, correlated to more demand, weaker dollar, weaker yields, and that's what we've been seeing. These will eventually go higher if those conditions persist. Baltic Dry Index down 7.7%. That's a big down day. Now that was probably yesterday's move, but you can see we paused, and that was we just couldn't get the traction, and we are selling off in the short term here. Maybe even going through a potential slowdown because Baltic Dry Index that moves things around the world. Um, we know China's been having a rough time. XHB down 0.66%. A little bit of a bearish candlestick today. We'll see if there's any follow through in either direction for that. This is a rising wedge, and we have broken to the downside for home builders. Russell 2000 down slightly, but it's still holding on. Continuation pattern looks good. SPX still looks fine. We're above a bunch of support. Sometimes you pause a little bit right at highs, and that's what we're doing. NASDAQ doing the same thing, right at highs. We've got SMCI down slightly, just tracking sideways. No real updates there. NVIDIA down 3%. Now, this is a distribution candlestick. So when you get these big red candlesticks like this, these are distribution candlesticks all through here. A couple through here as well. But someone is offloading a lot of shares. And what happens is you'll come up like this was pre-market. What they did, this is a trick that they play on you guys. Pre-market, they gap it up. They gap it up, get everybody excited to buy shares, and then they just dump on you all day. Someone's dumping shares onto probably retail. And that's where you get these big distribution candlesticks that start to show up all through here, which could potentially turn into a top. You'll also get wicks at the top of these candlesticks too. These wicks, they start to show up at the top. Bitcoin up to 0.13%. It's still tracking okay, but we're right at some resistance. We'll see if we can break through that. Ethereum up 0.21%, squeezing in this. It still looks good to go higher. It's a bullish formation. And then MicroStrategy selling off more dramatically. We're getting another bearish engulfing. So these bearish engulfings start to add up, or bearish piercings. These are distribution candlesticks. So people come in, they think, oh, it's going to go up, it's going to go up forever, and then somebody just offloads buttloads of shares on you. And that's where you get these big, pullbacks where they start it in the morning strong, they gap it up in the morning or something like that pre-market, try to gap things up, and then they just dump on retail. They don't know any better. And then on the longer time frame, you get these big wicks at the top that people are selling distribution. But we'll see how this plays out. Maybe there's one last blow off top, maybe. Because sometimes they get like a double top like that sometimes. But that's what I've got for today, guys. So give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you'd like. Discount. We do have a 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time for Sunday. It's a little bit different than we normally do. It's 90 minutes delayed. There's something I have to do during that time frame that I cannot do due to some circumstances in the family. So that's what we've got going on here. And if you want to attend that question and answer session and you're not a member, use discount and the coupon code, get yourself some savings. But that's all I've got for today. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.